Yeah, so I just kind of woke up. Um, that's my new door set up. It's gonna be really hard to fix that broomstick. But I just woke up and it's like 10. I woke up at like 10:30. It's not like 11. They left a few clues, like hair here, and my coconut bottle is like pointing at the edge in the corner of my salmon. Dylan said, hold on, let me pull him out on my phone real quick. Let me call Dylan real quick. Okay, I'm calling Dylan. So Dylan is saying that they never broke into my house this morning. And the reason is because they know that if they get caught committing another act of home invasion in my house, that they could get into a lot of trouble. So what they do is they sell their soul to the devil in order to um in order to rearrange things in my house with magic is what they're saying. um and by the way, guys, the toilet was filled with toilet paper and pee again this morning, which my mom would never really do. She would always flush it down the toilet, so I have a hard time believing that they didn't break into my house. Yeah, so anyways, you guys should always like wash your toilet. There's just so much information all the time that I need to give out, and I always forget. But you guys should probably wash your toilet with soap like 3 times. Like, wash it with soap, your toilet with soap, flush it down 3 times, wash your toilet with soap again, flush it down 3 times, and then wash it down with soap again, and then after that, flush it down 3 times. So that's 9 flushes, 3 different soaps, uh, occasions. Because those guys either leave pee and poop and spit in your toilet, those Mexican people. No one's more dirty than a Mexican person for sure, dude. No one's more stuck up about being dirty than a Mexican person and a Japanese person, dude. What was that guy? Heidegger? The stench fills the room yet again. Cho stinks more than anyone. She's Tifa. Cho stinks more than anyone in this room. Um, they always fucking do that shit. You stinky bitch. You stinky bitch. Tifa, you stinky bitch. Go take a shower. You stinky bitch. I don't know why I keep saying it like that, but apparently Mexican people actually talk like that to Tifa Lockhart behind the scenes. And you'll never see it because they know that if they get seen like that, they will get shot. They will get shot for offensive behavior. So they do it behind the scenes. But Mexican people actually talk like that anyways. The closest you'll get is Chris Olsen. Anyway, my phone kept getting shut off yesterday. And I kept trying to record it, and it didn't record. Some of my videos got deleted because my phone got shut off. Apparently, it said phone too hot, cooling down. But anyway, as I was saying, Mexican people, dude, like they just get turned on by poop and pee, right? And I said I didn't really want to talk about that, but I have to because we're talking about Mexicans, right? And that video got deleted. And there's a car revving it up and ruining everyone's day because he's a faggot, right? So, anyways, what's happening is that, like Mexican guys, when a girl or an animal walks by, they'll be like, oh, 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 I don't like you, right? Oh, oh, okay. And that's just how they act. They'll do that to Linda. They'll do that to Jenny. They'll do that to Dark Pastel. They'll do that to Aerith. They'll do that to Bella, to Mittens, to Stewie. They'll do that to a Dark Magician Girl. They'll just go. The second they see us pretty girls, they'll just do that. Ugh, Dark Pastel? Ugh. Ugh. I don't like her. Why? I just don't like her. Just stuff like that, right? It's always gonna be like that because they're gay, apparently. And then what happens is that they'll Mexican people or Japanese people or Chinese people or whatever. Okay, I hate having to say all of them, okay? Mexican people are Indian people, Middle Eastern people, and Japanese people are Chinese people, okay? We just go with the top tier. We just go with the top tier, okay? So Mexican people is short for Mexican Indian, and Japanese people is short for Chinese and Japanese, okay? But sometimes it'll be specified, but that also includes Europeans, okay? So, anyways, like sometimes they'll sell their soul to the devil, and then all of a sudden you have to pee or you have to poop. And then you're wiggling around because you're kind of busy in the middle of a project, but you have to pee or poop, right? And then Mexican people go, mm, mm, woo, mm, mm. And then after that, I have to say, man, nothing makes a Mexican man more happy than pee or poop itself. You know that, right? Linda and Aerith and Ariel. Okay. And Dark Magician Girl. They are the most objectively beautiful girls in the world. Okay. That is for sure. And a Mexican man just said choma yet. Okay, that's for fucking sure. Okay, so they lose. They lose because they chose to reject an objective side of beauty, right? They chose to reject it in its originality. Okay? But anyways, they would just say that, right, to the most objectively beautiful girls in the whole world. Okay? And they hate those girls. And then that Mexican guy said Dumve. But then when they see poop or pee, they go, delicious. I eat that shit up. I just eat that shit up. I'm thinking about sex, dude. I am absolutely thinking about sex. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. Right? So they just kind of do that. They just kind of do this thing where they act like they're gonna come because someone needs to pee or poop. Right? Which is kind of disgusting, but that's kind of what Mexican men do. And that guy said, Dungve. Right? But okay, so Zhao Yun. Okay, so that guy, not necessarily that I'm trying to like show him off, or I'm not trying to, you know, teach people the way or something like that. I'm just a muggle kid. I'm just a little girl. I'm just a girl. I don't really think like a guy that much. Okay, I don't get it. I don't get how they know how to flirt so well. But he knows how to flirt really, really well. He just had to get on his knees and say, "Put it in my mouth," right? And it just became a really big turn on. It just became a really, really big turn on. And that alone just drove people crazy, right? A lot of people just thought, wow, I'm just kind of really turned on by this guy. This guy is really, really cute. And it caused such a big deal that the whole world, but especially the Fujoshi, fuck Joshi, okay, like men, okay, that's what it means, Fujoshi, okay. But anyways, what happens is that the Fujoshi community are extremely perverted, and they demanded to have an anime about how they masturbate to Zhao Yun because they're so turned on by him because he was so cute. Like he knows how to flirt. And that guy said, "Dungvei, shut the fuck up, dude. Go take a piss and shit and go have sex with it. Go groundhog your shit and think about sex all fucking day. Go think about how you're having gay sex with your piece of shit." Because that's how the straight white man told me you think. Yeah, so what happens is that because that Mexican guy talked to me, I'm gonna tell you what happens, okay? So the beautiful straight white man's club, and we're talking like objectively beautiful here, okay? Like really beautiful rich white men. And they told me that what Mexican men do is that while they need to pee or that they need to poop, they actually imagine like having sex. That's when they get their horniest. They're having sex with their pee and their poop, and that's how they, have sex in their mind, but also with their body. Okay, which is such a turnoff, by the way. Mexican men just do that. They just have sex with their pee and their poop, like pretty much every day, like 3 times a day at least. And they also bathe and poop and pee, like they have a swimming pool in it, and then they start having sex in it because it just turns them on so much. And that Mexican guy said, "Dumbe." And so, anyways, I'm just gonna go back to Hugo. So, anyways, that guy, really cute. Like, he just knows how to flirt really, really well. And so, it created an anime. It's called, I can't remember, The Ugly Girl's Flowers or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to watch it. So creepy. That girl, my spy. Who are you, the fucking Grinch? Can you not talk like that, first of all? And second of all, creepy. Creepy. I am not your spy. Okay? You don't go shopping for boyfriends through seeing my eyes in America like that. And especially Vietnamese guys like that. Okay? Vietnamese guys don't like Japanese girls. That's for sure. Okay? Um, let's see. So what's happening is that, you know, me, I'm just kind of in the back, and that guy said, "Don't wait." I'm so annoying. I'm just kind of, oh my god, that guy is so cute. I'm so turned on by him. I just like the way he talks. I just like the way he talks. I like the way he looks at me. I like the way he smiles. I like the way he flirts with me. Okay? Really turned on just by his face alone. His face alone just turns me on. And that's what should turn you on. Okay? That's what should turn you on. And Dylan also says, look, that's what's normal, Cho. Okay? It's normal to be turned on by someone's face. Okay? That's what's normal. If a man or a girl is objectively beautiful with their face and you're turned on by that, that's what's normal. What's extremely gay is if you hear a man say, "Are you an ass type of guy or are you a boobs type of guy? Are you like a body type of guy?" That is extremely, extremely gay. Okay, I'm not gay. It's really offensive to hear a guy say, "Are you an ass type of guy or are you a boobs type of guy?" Really, really offensive to hear. Super gay. Don't like hearing it. Okay? What's normal is to be turned on by someone's beautiful face, someone's objective beautiful face, and that's just simply it. Okay? But then he had to flip the script, and then he just started saying, no, if you are into the face, then you are gay. And then if you're into the body, then that's what's straight. Like, the face doesn't matter. The face doesn't matter. If you're ugly, it doesn't matter. I just like your ass kind of deal. Okay, he just had to flip the script for some reason, but that's what he said first. Okay, he just has to flip the script sometimes. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but that's what it is, right? And so, anyways, what's happening is that I'm just objectively turned on by Hugo's face. Okay, but also Zhao Yun's face, okay? Unfortunately, his face used to be really cute in Dynasty Warriors. I used to, watch YouTube videos of him, and then you would only get to see his face for a split second. Okay, he uses his special attack move. There's like some type of like sparkle or some shine or like some power up move that enlightens around him, right? Like electricity. And then it gets close to his face, and then you'll see his face, and then you would think, wow, he has a really cute face for an Asian guy. You definitely don't see an Asian guy walking around with that cute face that often. So what I did is that I took a snapshot of his face. Okay, I took a screenshot of his face, saved it, and then I put it in my boyfriend folder because I wanted him to be my boyfriend back in high school. But he was really cute. But his clothes too, his clothes. It's such a turn on. You just get turned on by it. Just like, because he's a real man, he's like a provider. He wants to be at the top. He wants to be strong. He wants to be powerful. He wants to be a real man. He wants to be romantic as a husband. And he wants to be beautiful, because if he's beautiful, then that's what gets his wife or his husband to fall in love with him. Okay, that's the point. And Dylan is like that too. He said, I made sure, Joe, that I was objectively beautiful and that I had a beautiful house and that I looked rich because I wanted you to fall in love with me. And that's what he said. So, but Zhao Yun, he's also the same. That's a turn on. Like, seeing a man be rich because he works honestly is such a turn on. We love seeing that. But he doesn't even have to be rich either, and that's the point. The point is that a man, he could also be poor too and live in a dingy apartment, right? But watching a man just go to work and then just come home and then, just feed his wife Just ask her if she's hungry and then just hang out with her and then just feed his wife or cook dinner for her. Okay, I guess saying feed his wife sounds weird. Just seeing a man comes home and then cook for his wife. That's a really big turn on. That's such a turn on. Like that will get a girl to fall in love with a man, okay? So one time, just before Christmas, what Dylan did is that Dylan he worked two jobs, two part-time jobs. He kept saying, sometimes, like a man has to work. He has to get a job. It is not right for a man to stay home all day and not work, and he just wants to spend time leisurely all day. A man has to work. And so Dylan asked me if I wanted to live with him, and I said yes. And what he did is that he came home from working two jobs, and I was just waiting for him on his bed, and then he just went to the kitchen and he started cooking dinner, and then he, made a plate for me, and then we just ate dinner together, and I just fell in love with Dylan because I just like the sight of a man who works two jobs and then just comes home and cooks dinner for his wife. So I actually got that idea from Dylan, and then I just made that my persona. Okay, so every single time you see me do that, that came from Dylan. And then I just had the idea that Dylan just wanted to be like that all the time. All the time. He just wanted to work two jobs, and then he just wanted to come home, and then he just wanted to cook dinner for me, and then he just wanted to flirt with me all day, and then he just wanted to hang out like boyfriend and girlfriend, and then husband and wife type of deal. Okay? Now that's a turn on. I hate when Mexican guys do that. They want to go to Kingdom Hearts so bad. They want to be seen as innocent so bad. I'm not sure if you guys hear the way they honk their horn or whatever. It was a Cloud Strife joke. So, anyways, what's happening is that but Hugo, he's always been around. He was Unhui the whole time. He was Murray, he was Zhao Yun, the same guy, just three different shadow clones. Three different shadow clones. Oh, you sold your soul to the devil. Beep, beep. Okay, he honked his horn to make me stutter. Do it again. Sell your soul to the devil again. Okay, so anyways. So Unhui, Hugo, Murray, Darren Dow, Zhao Yun. Sorry, I forgot. They're all Zhao Yun is different from Unhui, and Unhui is different from Murray. They all look different, but they're all the same person. They're all the same person, just in three different shadow clones, three different faces, three different type of looks, three different skin types too. Just three different guys, all very, very cute. Unhui, that guy looks really young. That guy looks really young. And I still really like him. But I just don't really have like a very young looking face. If I did, then yeah, okay, sure. Then I would pick that one, but I didn't. Just because I just don't want to go outside of like the golden standard, right? Where the American standard is like the guy is like older than the girl and he is taller than the girl. That's just how it is. If you are a girl who's taller than a man and you're older than a man, you might not see it and you might not hear it, but the rich white man would think that's really weird. He would think that that's really strange. And so I didn't want to look weird to corporate America, and I didn't want to look weird to the rich white man because there is a standard, okay? It's known. You should know that by now. For somehow through gossip or something. or through corporate American advertisement, right? Through maybe Hollywood or commercial or through education. It should just be known, right? So as much as like Anhui, I just kind of think that it just didn't really make sense. Okay? So maybe, you know, okay, Murray, fine. He just has like a bit of a older guy type look. Still young. When did I meet him? I was like 20 something, 28 when I met him. Um, I never used to stutter before, which is kind of weird, but maybe it's because I just didn't talk that much when I was a kid. Maybe it's because I'm talking more often now that I notice I'm more capable of stuttering, but then at the same time, when I talked back then, I don't think I ever stuttered. But then again, back in the day, I just couldn't speak 3 sentences without someone telling me to shut up and actually mean it. And actually freaking mean it. And that happened to me pretty often. So I don't know. I just stutter a lot these days, and it kind of shocks me. Maybe it's just because I just didn't get to talk that much back then. But anyways, and Zhao Yun is definitely more older looking than Murray. He's just a bit more of the older type. So he would be the oldest type, okay? I kind of noticed that in video games that the characters just tend to look older. Their structure just tends to look older than the real life forms. Okay, so Cece and Belle Delphine just looks younger than Aerith. Okay, and unfortunately, Cece got screwed over by Mario Lopez, Sam Asghari with CGI. They just created an extremely ugly version of Aerith, and maybe we'll see it around later. But that's not her real face. Everyone goes, wow, Cece's really pretty, but her face could be prettier, right? But she's definitely the prettiest girl around, right? I guess it's just to subliminally show that they made a sloppy face for Cece through CGI. But Simon Cowell had to recreate a CGI, a brand new CGI, or the American FBI had to do it. The American police had to do it because the Mexican cartels and Japan will not accept Cece's real holograph being shown on television. So they changed their clothes, they made a different face, and that was it, right? Completely different. So Dylan is saying it's completely different, but I have a hard time believing that. Um, but anyway, so Cece definitely looks younger than Cece looks younger than Aerith, and Linda looks younger than what's that girl's name? That Feast Your Eyes girl, Elena. Linda looks younger than Elena, which is just Tifa Lockhart, anyways, right? Linda looks like a younger version of Utada Hikaru. Linda and Cece and Belle look younger. They just look younger. Okay? Anhui and Murray, they just look younger. Okay? But Zhao Yun and Aerith look older. They just look older. Not bad. I like it. I like the 30-year-old look. I'm an adult now. I'm in my 30s. So seeing people in their 30s is actually just a turn on. Okay? For me, God intends for me to look younger. Okay? Maybe not like Linda Young and not Belle Delphine Young, but like Murray Young. Sorry, his name is so ugly. Murray Young. I'm trying to find an example, but I don't think we have that age type facial structure around. And Dylan, sometimes I guess his picture looks like Aerith, right? He looks like he's in his 30s. Um, but in real life, everyone just looks younger. Everyone just looks younger. Okay, Linda and Belle Delphine is Linda and Belle Delphine is more like the little sister type. Me and Cece is more of like the middle sister type. Did I say middle sister type? So Linda and Belle are more like the younger sister type. Me and Cece are more like the middle sister type. And then Aerith and Tifa Lockhart are more like the older sister type. And Utada Hikaru would fit in the older sister type as well. So, anyways, I'm more of the middle sister type. Okay? So I wouldn't date Unhui. Technically, he and I are supposed to get married anyways, even with that age gap, which is why he Hugo introduced himself as Unhui and also as my husband. So that's what happened. So I was supposed to get married to Darren Dow, is what he was saying. But I just don't see. I liked him, and I still technically would not mind marrying a guy like that. But I'm really superficial, very picky. I don't have the face to marry a guy that looks like that, is what I'm saying. So I don't think that we are the perfect match. And I think that way with Dylan too. And my real life face is different from my profile picture, okay? So that is a CGI render, a CGI generated image of what God wants me to look like. I just got a text message about paying a ticket for my car. I don't even have a car right now. I sold my car, dude. So anyways, so I'm a bit more of the middle sister type, right? The middle kid type. So I would marry a middle kid type. Okay, so that's like Murray. Okay. So I would pick Murray, and on top of that, he's the same age as me, anyways, which would be a lot more socially acceptable, if that makes sense. So in reality, I'm actually supposed to marry Marie more than Anhui. Okay, so Anhui's holographic face was changed as soon as Japanese people traveled in time and forced him, Darien Dao, to raise their Japanese kids in the Vietnamese church. Did not work as well as they would think, okay, because they're not gentle people. Their kids turned out really bad, unfortunately, okay, and he's pretty nice to those kids too, because he's just a nice guy. But he doesn't live with those kids, okay? So those kids, what he does is that he just takes pictures with those kids and he lets the Japanese people raise their kids. And he just tells everyone they're his kids, and then eventually they're going to be raised in Vietnamese Catholic school church. I personally wouldn't go back there again. Just because we talk about Jesus a lot and we don't really like Jesus, right? But we talk about God a lot, and they all knew God. Of course, God is real. God is real. God is real. Hell is real, and heaven is real. God is a very powerful man, and anything is possible with God. God is like an extremely magical being, and he can do anything. Nothing is impossible for God. And they talk about God a lot. Okay? Uh, um, so yes, you can go, but I wouldn't go back to that school. Sure, Anhui is there, but I just wouldn't go. I just don't like seeing a bunch of like ugly shadow clones just running around Vietnamese Catholic school and then just kind of being weird. Okay, there were some of the cute guys. The teachers were really cute. And sometimes a lot of people talk about their jokes a lot and how popular those jokes were. Very funny. Those guys can be very, very funny. Sometimes I do want to come around again, and I would say, oh, I would like to go to the school festival again, just because they told funny jokes. It's really nice entertainment. You see Vietnamese culture is really cool. But I still really want to go back there, and it really is because we're not really supposed to go back there anyways, and that's the whole point. An Hui didn't want me to go back to church school after I graduated. That was kind of the truth. He just kind of said, Cho, you're not. The second time he ever talked to me, the first time he ever talked to me, he said, Cho, I'm rich. I have a lot of money, and anything you want, I can buy for you. You just have to ask me. Okay? And then I wondered, hey, does he say that to all the other kids or just me? Okay? But I fell in love with him at first sight. I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. I want to marry that guy, right? And then one day he just pulled me aside and he said that to me. And then I thought, does he want to date me? And I was in elementary school, and this guy was already like the president of the Catholic school church. Okay? And at the age, I did think, well, what about the age gap? Like I thought that this whole entire student teacher relationship would be illegal. Okay? Unless approved by God, but never, it should never happen. It should never, ever, ever, ever happen. Okay? Don't ever do it. Don't think like that. Don't think like that just because you hear me and him doing it. It is strictly forbidden. If you want to fall in love with someone, maybe your classmate, or maybe you met him while you're shopping or something. Okay? But don't do this student teacher thing. Okay? And he and I, what I'm saying is, we're not technically dating, but we are. Okay? We are soulmates, but we're not technically dating. If that makes sense. Okay? So anyways, I all of those ideas came up in my head, and I really liked him. I really wanted to marry him. So I felt really happy that he did that. But at the same time, I also wasn't happy because I just did not grow up in a very happy childhood type of deal. And then the second time he talked to me, I wore a very, very cool outfit. It was a very cool aviation, like Blackfire type outfit to church school. Very cool. You will never. Um, but what happened is that the second time the Unhui talked to me, he didn't come around often. He didn't come around to church school often. He just came once every like month or two, or every other month, or 3 months. I don't remember. Right? But he didn't come around that much. Apparently, he would just visit from LA. But he was the president of the Catholic school church. And he would pull me aside and he would say, Cho, you can't wear that to church school. And I said, but why? It looks cool though. You guys are selling these shirts, these school uniforms, but you guys don't really sell pants or the skirts that you guys keep saying that you guys offer at these schools. And you guys said we can wear, blue dicky pants or black pants, right? Or you can wear a black skirt or a blue skirt. I'm wearing blue dicky shorts. Okay? And sure, they might be with like these pitch black tights with these Converse, and the socks might come out and make me look like I'm wearing aviation shoes. But this should be like the standard because it's cool. And then he said, Cho, you just simply can't wear that to church school. It is not allowed. It is not acceptable. And so me, as the type of girl who loves the fashion industry, I couldn't stand it. I just couldn't stand how sloppy Vietnamese church school is. It was so sloppy, okay? What's happening is that it was so sloppy. It was so sloppy. It can't. Vietnamese church school cannot be fixed. And Dylan is talking right now. And the reason why is because the outfit was so cool that Japanese people told Anhui, told Darren to tell me to not wear that outfit ever again because they wanted to debut in that outfit and it was really cute. It was like a cute aviation Girl Scout outfit. Super cute, pretty high class, okay? This was one of my great debuts, but I was never allowed to wear it again. And then I became a nobody. I became a nobody, a normie again until later in college, like 4 years into college, 3 years into college, really. Okay. I became a nobody again because apparently no one wanted to see Dark Pastel be cool. Boring. Real boring the life is when you want everyone to be a nobody. Everything is boring. Everything. Okay? Um right now Dark Pastel is one of the only people that is keeping an online public profile of all of the cool kids online. You just don't see that anymore. Everyone else is a nobody. Okay? So anyways, Darren told me, "Cho, you can't wear that." So then I was like, okay, fine. If I can't wear this, if I can't wear what I want and look good at church school, then I quit. I'm not coming back here again. And that was the whole point. And he knew I would quit anyways because we're the same person. That guy, okay, wears really nice clothing. His clothing, when he goes to church school, and I've never seen him wear normal clothing ever, okay? When he wears church school clothing, that is like some corporate America, like rich white people clothing. Okay, it is like he got it tailor made to fit just him. Okay, this is not some commercial you buy it off of the rack just for any size. Okay, he got his clothing tailored to fit just him, and it was like you've corporate American pants with the Vietnamese Catholic church school t-shirt uniform. He was wearing the Boy Scout, scarf, and he was always wearing professional shoes, and he was into like the car culture too. Super rich guy. He was like, "Yeah, I have like 3 to 5 cars. I have really nice cars, Cho. I drive around a lot of really nice cars. I just wanted you to know." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And that was it, right? But anyways, he and we were technically supposed to get married. But because Japanese people traveled back in time and demanded that he and I not get married anymore, that they changed his holograph. They changed his holograph to look very young because Japanese are pedophiles. And they did that just to make them jealous, right? Because he has like a very young face, and that's what they like. Okay, he looks very young, and that's for sure. And then a new shadow clone, a new character was created, and that was Murray, right? Wait, hold on. Oh, so Dylan said that he was always around. Why did you just tell me he was brand new and created for the new one? Because they just wanted to lie to me. Okay, so in other words, no. So Murray, he was always around. He was always around, is what they were saying. Okay, so Murray was around, and he was my age. He should be a sheep ear, and I can tell because he talks like Jean-Claude Van Damme. He talks like a sheep ear. He talks like a sheep ear. He sounds like one. And it's not just that, but you can just feel it in your heart sometimes. Sometimes when a sheep ear meets another sheep ear, all of a sudden you just know deep down inside your heart that that person is also a sheep ear. You just know. It's just like sometimes it is a personality thing, but it's also like you just know deep down inside your heart, like heart to heart, you just know that person's a sheep ear for sure. Okay, so then I met Murray. Okay, and he's more of the middle kid. He's more of the middle kid type. Very cute. I personally think he is just a little bit older than me. My Facebook profile, my internet profile picture, a Mexican guy just said moo. Fucking dumb. So what's happening is that my internet picture, profile picture, is cute. It is cute. I don't look like that in real life. But that is what God wants me to look like. But in essence, okay, it's still not the real shape and form, not the real holograph, but it's something like that, right? You know, I just can't get over the fact that I have a pretty big nose. And it's because I'm a muggle. You know, that guy has a pretty small nose. It's pretty sharp. And so does Dylan. And I always complain about that. I always complain about that. Because I have a big nose, I can't date anyone, is what I always say. I just always do that. But I would pick Murray's holograph over Anhui's, and it's just simply because I have a middle kid face shape. And I would think that it would be acceptable to date Zhao Yun, and basically because he is the older sibling type, right? He is the oldest one, so as a middle child, I would date the older type or the middle type. I would not date the younger type, if that makes sense. Okay? Dylan, he definitely looks like an Aerith type, so the older brother, the older sibling type. Okay? So I would date Dylan, I guess. But yeah, I'm just explaining that Hugo, you know, Anhui, okay, yeah, I really like him. If I got the chance to marry him, fine. I'll take it. Okay? But I would rather, you know, an older looking type because I am just like an adult. I'm just like an adult type of person. Yeah. So anyways, Hugo, you know, is all three of them anyways. He has a younger form, middle form, an older form. Okay? Anyway, so I'm just gonna go back to everything. Hugo? Oh, that's creepy, dude. What was that? Why is it doing that? Mexicans just magic that to happen? And why? Oh, just because they just wanted to stall time and waste everyone's time? So Hugo, you know, he's really good at flirting. And that's the whole point. Okay? He's really cute at flirting, and a lot of the times I just kind of crave that guy. I'm just kind of like, oh my god, like, when is he gonna come around again? When is he gonna say hi to me again? I just miss him so much. I just miss that guy. I just miss him so much. That guy, he just turns me on. He just turns me on. And it's not necessarily that he turns me on. I just like that guy. He's just really polite. He's just really polite. He's just a really nice guy. You know? This is not really something that I want to say, and I really wouldn't have said it, but I'll say it because of what the Mexican people did. So fucking annoying. So dumb. And I guess I really shouldn't have said it now, but it's just different. You know, kind of, he would just sweet talk to me. And I like that. Says really nice things. Cho, I really like you a lot, is what he would say sometimes. And I like the way he flirts with me, you know? And so what's happening is that should I say it? Okay, so Dylan said yeah. So I would just kind of wake up from sleeping and I would just kind of get this vision where Zhao Yun is having sex with me. I would just be in bed and then I would just wake up to him having sex with me. And I was like wildly, wildly attracted to that guy. I'd be like, oh my God, that guy is so cute. I really, really, really want to have sex with this guy. So cute. So cute. And it was such a turn on because he was like so beautiful. And he was like, you know, a real man. And the truth is that I wish that it could have lasted a little longer. But because we had mind readers around, what happened is that Mexican people swarmed my house and they started cussing me out, saying things like, Joe, you had better stop having sex with Zhao Yun. You had better not masturbate to him trying to have sex with you. You had better not do that. And they would cuss me out. And so I wouldn't masturbate because, and I don't want to say it, but I wouldn't do it because Mexican people are around talking to me. And sometimes you just have to rub it out, but maybe you can wait, right? But that guy, he is pure. Pure. He is clean. He is clean. And so what's happening is that, you know, the face, the voice, the clothes, the job is all he needs, right? Is all he needs to turn someone on. And the flirtation tactics. Mm, the flirtation tactics. His flirtation tactics. Really, really cute. Really cute. Just my type. Just my type. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all it takes. So, yeah. All he has to do is look at you in the eyes and then say something, and then he'll just turn you on. That's all I'm saying. And sometimes he just knows how to wear clothing. And it's such a turn on. It just kind of turns you on. It's just like, dang, dude. You just want to pull onto his shirt, and just pull him a little closer because he's just so cute. That's all it takes for him. Anyway, let's go back to the reason why we're talking about all of this. I can't stand Mexican people having sex with piss and shit all fucking day. It's dumb. It's super fucking annoying. And I kept trying to explain that yesterday, but my video kept getting cut off. I think I just saw a ghost. My video just kept getting cut off because Mexican people didn't want me to explain to you guys that Mexican people have sex with piss and shit. Okay, and then, every single time they go, poop and pee, and then I just sing, congratulations on your marriage. I know that when you guys get married, you guys gift someone a cow, and then you guys take a bath in their piss and shit, and the cow's piss and shit. So congratulations on your marriage. Okay? And they cut that whole thing out. Sometimes I don't rewatch my videos. Sorry guys, I just don't really care. I mean, I'll watch them and then I will be like, oh my god, that's actually so funny. Why don't I rewatch my videos? Because those are funny. And on top of that, if I watch more of those videos, I would get an idea on how to make better videos. But then at the same time, I don't want to watch it. I just don't want to watch it. I'm just magically made to not want to watch it. But they're funny. Sometimes I'll watch it and I'll go, oh, hey, this is actually pretty interesting. I could definitely watch this, but I don't. I'm just like more into talking to people on social media. I don't really want to watch my own videos. I'm bored. I'm bored of myself. Not really. Not really. But I just would rather talk to other people online. So anyways, Mexican people, they act like they're so turned on when someone needs to pee or poop. And in order to get that done, Mexican people actually have to sell their soul to the devil. And you might have heard like the car revving it up because they don't want people to know. See, they just don't want people to know. So what happens is that sometimes when you're in the middle of a really nice project and all of a sudden you have to pee and poop, it's because people are trying to buy time for you to not finish your project so that they can debut it first because they're doing intellectual property theft. Okay? So in reality, all of a sudden you need to pee or you need to poop, and then all of a sudden you might hear a Mexican go, Did you need to poop? It's such a turnoff. It's such a turnoff. Have you ever had real food before? I thought you liked steak. The fuck you mean? When someone needs to take a shit. That's not how you have sex, dude. Look, I'm just a muggle girl. I don't know how to have sex, okay? I'm just kind of like, when people, start talking about sex or they start flirting with me, I just kind of freeze. I don't know how to flirt back. I don't know how to accept it. I'm just kind of like looking around and I'm kind of like, did you just do that? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Okay? Man, when those cute white guys flirt with you, it's different. It's different when a guy flirts with you, though. Like that Cloud Stripe guy. When we were at the beach and he was wearing that monster hat and he was showing off his tattoo. It was so cute. It was a turn on. I was so awkward, dude. I only saw two people sport the monster look, and it was Dylan first, and then it was Cloud Strife. It was so cool. I was like, why are all these rich white guys coming around me all the time? Cute, 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 cute. That guy was so cute. He was with that monster hat. And the tattoo, too. The tattoo was really cute. Very rare. Very rare. You've never seen it before, that's for sure. Cool design. Very smart, too. Very smart design, too. It's not. It was like a tattoo intended by God, really. Okay? That was a turn on. I didn't want to stick around for too long, but that guy magicked me to stay with him at that party, at that beach party. I stayed there for 3 hours and I just kind of sat on the balcony fence. And I was just kind of like looking at him and just thinking, wow, that guy is super cute for like 3 to 4 hours. And then what happened is that he was actually trying to get my number. But what happened is that some Mexican girl started flirting with him the whole time. And I was forced to sit there and watch him get flirted with. But that guy was already a turn on by his clothes and by his style. And I was thinking, well, I don't really think he would like me that much, because I'm Asian. I just think like that. And so what's happening is that I didn't want to stay around too long, but I kind of did. Kind of did. And he did too. And then at one point, I don't remember who approached who. If I said hi to him or if he said hi to me, but I think that I was magicked to have the confidence just to say hi to him. I think that's what happened. I don't remember. And then I asked her, oh, how do you know him? And then she said, oh, I'm his girlfriend and we know each other through college. And then he said, hey, can you ask her for her number for me? And then he just packed his bag and he left without her. And so I gave her my number because I wanted her to give him my number because I really liked him because he wore a monster hat. And I thought he was friends with Dylan. So I wanted him to have my number because no one else was doing it. It was just those two. So what happened is that she left and she followed after him. But I assume that she never gave him my number. And Dylan said, which is correct. She never gave it to him. So in reality, he came by and he wanted to ask me for a date, but he couldn't because a Mexican girl came by, and Mexican people always do that to me, dude. Someone wants to talk to me, and then they would just come. They would just zoom on right by, and then they would start talking to that person who wants to talk to me and their back is facing me, and then they would just cut me off. And a Mexican guy just said, Dumroy. So, anyways, like white guys are just a turn on. Like and should I say that? And Vietnamese guys are also a turn on. Vietnamese guys are super fucking cute. Very cute. Sometimes you just have to have style, a cute voice. You gotta have swag. And that's about it. Sometimes all it takes is like a cute clothes, a cute face, a cute voice, a cute personality, and that's it to turn you on. You just have to have that, and you just gotta go, dude, I'm sorry, but I just want to date that guy. I want to have sex with that guy. And that's all it takes. You know? And then that guy said, Cho mat yet. But it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting that, Mexican people always have to do that. Like the second I need to pee, they just start talking to you sexually. They sexually harass you. They act like it's a form of molestation. They act like it's a form of rape. I'm sick and tired of it. So I had to make this video. And that's just all I'm saying. Really fucking disgusting. There's Mexican people are so turned on by pee and by poop. But even if they look like Sam Asghari and had the same exact tattoo as those guys, or had the same clothes and somehow were really great actors and knew how to fucking act, no one's gonna fall in love with them. No one's gonna fall in love with them, and that's all I'm saying. Cause they're Mexican, dude. They were made to be hated by God and ultimately by the entire universe of existence. So, whatever you do is not gonna work. It's better to just accept that people hate your fucking guts. But if you don't want to, then we'll fuck you up some more. Don't worry. We know how to do it. Okay? We know how to take revenge on you, whether you know it or not. But anyways, yeah, that's just all I wanted to say. We're at 1 minute and 8 seconds, like Mexican people, they just need to stop. They just need to stop acting like they're turned on by pee and by poop and letting people know that they have sex with pee and poop. They need to stop doing that, and you know what? The color of their skin is a piece of shit for a fucking reason. And I showed you guys the hidden signs where they just rub shit on my fucking toilet, and then they leave a poop stain like color on the back of my toilet seat because I'll find out if it's on top or whatever. Like, it's the color of Mexican skin for sure, dude. Like, real fucking disgusting. Well, anyway, that's technically all I wanted to say. Anyways, spread the rumor. Spread the rumor that Mexican people are turned on by piss and poop, and that the proper rich white guys are better than that. And the Vietnamese guys are also better than that. But go ahead and emphasize Vietnamese if you want. Only if you want. You don't have to. You don't have to do the Vietnamese. But you can definitely for the white people. Okay? The reason why I say emphasize the Vietnamese is because they were also always calling the Vietnamese a dirty Asian race. That they're so fucking dirty that they can't even be deemed as real fucking Asians, right? And so if you say that the Vietnamese are better than the Mexican people with proof, a lot of them are gonna feel fucking dumb. Because they insulted the Vietnamese race so badly over fucking anime, dude. And then all of a sudden, the Vietnamese king, you know, revealed himself for the wonder that he is. That it's gonna piss off those Mexicans. So you can use that card too if you want, but only if you want. If you don't like Asian, that's fine. But white people are the supreme race, and I truly believe that. So you can definitely say that the white people know how to flirt. Okay? Anyway, that's it for this video. 1 minute and 10 seconds, 1 hour, 10 minutes, 47 seconds, 12:25 o'clock a.m. at March 13th again. Wasn't it yesterday, March 13th? Yesterday was Wednesday, March 13th. Today is March 13th again. Oh shit, I saw Zhao Yun's face. Because we skipped over March 11th, right? Or did we not? Well, anyways, it doesn't really matter because my calendar and my clock is still in line with corporate America. They're just screwing the time over to show people that that's what Japanese intended to do along with the Mexican cartels. You're always late. America's always late. Foreigners are always late. Japanese are always on time. And then they intended to hack the global time frame and then switch it up on people all the time. So we're just kind of seeing what they're doing, but the American government took control of it, I guess, to do a secret attack on them. But me and corporate America and some of the celebrities and our friends are all on the same time. And that's kind of the truth. Other people, especially the enemies, are not allowed to have the same calendar and time as us. Well, anyways, I think that's about it for today. Spread the word, gossip all you want, and that's it. Bye, guys.